Good evening, everyone. This is Atmospheric Alex here, and welcome back to another U.S. weather forecast, outlook, and discussion. And we're still tracking our major winter storm that is going to be impacting our coastal Carolinas as we head further on into this weekend. Will you see some storm surge, some damaging winds, or very heavy snowfall, or all three of them? We'll find out in today's video. As we take a look at our current analysis data here, you can see still talking about a ton of lake effect snow up north. I don't know why my pen is freaking out. I've been having a ton of technical difficulties this morning. My camera's been moving around, nothing's been working properly, so hopefully I'm able to get this video out. And hopefully I'm not off the screen right now, and I very well could be. But we're talking lake effect snow up here. A pretty good clipper system up through here, and then, just some general moisture through here. It is significantly underperforming in some areas right now. We were actually supposed to see some moisture kind of down across this area, maybe snow flurries, but that has not materialized, so likely going to see lower snow chances for tonight. In terms of our alert map, we are talking about quite a lot going on. Winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories for the southeast there. Take a look here in your glowy pink colors. Those are your winter storm warnings. Kind of surprised to see them issued already for East Tennessee. I would have waited a bit longer if I were them. But then again, National Blend of all models with their snowfall is showing a lot for that area. And then your winter storm warnings over here. We're talking about freeze warnings going all the way down into Florida, all the way down to almost Miami there. Actually, freeze watches. And that's pretty significant. As we look at our winter storm severity index for tomorrow, we are talking about a moderate concern. Nothing too significant just yet as going to be ongoing, but you're going to be seeing some moderate to potentially heavy snowfall across portions of central, north, and South Carolina potentially. However, the real story is as we head into day 3, look at this. Tons of major snow impacts are expected here, with some extreme impacts as well in your Outer Banks. Remember in yesterday's video, I said, well, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't issued any higher end risks for the Outer Banks yet. That has just happened. Extreme 5 out of 5 risks for those areas there. In terms of your snowfall, storm surge, damaging winds, it's going to be a really big problem over there. We could see blizzard warnings get issued by tonight. And of course, we have a lot of key messages to kind of read through here as I adjust a few things. Talking about heavy snowfall, obviously, confidence is increasing for a lot of areas. Actually, confidence is decreasing up here for the Northeast. We really have no idea if we're going to get much snow up there for those areas. But you can see, also talking about strong winds and coastal impacts. I think I should probably read this out. This rapidly deepening storm system will produce powerful onshore winds along the mid-Atlantic coast from North Carolina Outer Banks northward. Wind gusts near hurricane force will coincide with astronomical high tides to produce moderate to locally significant coastal flooding. Near blizzard conditions are expected across the northeast North Carolina and southeast Virginia, as sharply reduced visibilities due to the snow and blowing snow make travel extremely treacherous. That's something we really need to note. As we take a look at our European model here, our 12Z data, you can see we do have some of our back-end energy around here, and then our snowstorm starts up for East Tennessee as we head into early Saturday morning there. You can see, talking about maybe perhaps some moderate snowfall already near the Smokies there. And take a look at how this continues to progress. Maybe some heavy snowfall begins falling, but it does not stop snowing in East Tennessee potentially until Saturday night. So we're talking about a lot of snow for that area yet to come. And then for our Carolinas, our low pressure really begins to ramp up. Not nearly as significant as yesterday's model runs, that is the good news, but we're still talking about a 974 millibar low pressure system. A bomb cyclone is still going to occur from this. Again, if we see a 24 millibar drop in 48 hours, it's a bomb cyclone. If we go back to 09Z Saturday, basically Saturday morning, our pressure looks to be roughly around 1,011 millibars. And then in 24 hours, we go to 974. So that is 100% a bomb cyclone, if not even a strong bomb cyclone for those areas. Outer Banks getting smoked with a ton of snow. And somehow the European model still shows Massachusetts getting in on some of the action, but starting to say, not a forecast. We're starting to lean more away from the forecast, unfortunately, and we have no idea what's going to happen up here. Likely not much, though. Our GFS, we got to go through this kind of quickly. I have a lot of graphics to show. More aggressive with our back-end energy, which I agree with. Moderate snowfall here across East Tennessee. Again, that's the main theme. And a ton of snow for your Outer Banks. Look at that, but nothing for your New England areas. And as we head into your RUFS model, aka your RRFS, and we're kind of taking a look at a different, mode of precipitation here. As you can see, we do have some moderate snow strength for East Tennessee, but things could be way overdone for your area. We're going to have to wait and see. I did say you all could see a surprise, but that surprise I was saying maybe between 1 to 3 inches of snow, and this looks to fall in line with that, maybe light to moderate snow, but whether or not we see an all-out winter storm of 5 to 8 inches, I'm not really seeing it. I'm going to be completely honest. I think the forecast is a little bit aggressive. That could change, but I really am not seeing the high-end scenarios the National Weather Service is. But you can see very, very heavy snow for the Outer Banks. Basically, the entirety of North and South Carolina back here gets shafted for some reason. RFS is being weird, right? But you can see lots of snowfall there, lots of strong winds. This model's a bit unreliable at this range, though. Now, as we take a look at our national blend of all models in terms of our snow, what is it exactly showing? As we look at our latest data, I think that's very important to do in this scenario. You can see between 2 to 4 inches across East Tennessee, though. There is some areas that could pick up to 6 according to the NBM. I think it's a little too aggressive. I've had past experiences with events like this, but we'll have to wait and see. If this continues trending off to the northwest, we'll have higher snow totals for East Tennessee. Not really seeing it as of yet. We're talking around a foot of snow here for the Outer Banks mixed in with your really damaging winds. That is just barely enough to put me into a code red, as of now, a 5 out of 5 on our level of concern scale. And then, for some reason, our NBM is still holding on for dear life in Massachusetts in your Cape, showing a foot of snow. But that's not actually 15 inches. No, not a forecast. I do think that's going to start to shift a little further to the east. But overall, pretty heavy hit for a lot of areas, for sure. And some very important key notes here. Your winter storm planning timeline for a few days out. You have to have your emergency supplies for your home and your car. That's pretty obvious. Check your smoke and carbon this pen, I swear, I've been having so many technical difficulties today. It's not even funny. Carbon monoxide detectors, you need to really check those as much as possible, because you don't want to die in the middle of the night due to carbon monoxide. You need to have those detectors checked for sure. Replenish fuel for your car and heating sources. Heating sources is very important. The day before, adjust plans. You should have already been doing that. Have multiple ways to receive warnings, very important. Bring pets indoors, ensure they have water, and that is very important, but we have to kind of move quickly through this here. We're hitting our National Weather Service's snowfall forecast here. We're starting here in portions of eastern Kentucky. Our snowfall forecast is a little bit uncertain as we refresh the page. No new data, but 1 to 5 inches there in Hazard, 1 to 6 in Pikeville. Your high end, we could be talking, I just don't really see this. I'm going to be totally honest, I don't see this verifying, but we'll have to wait and see. Upwards of maybe 9 inches for Pikeville as your absolute high end scenario. We'll see about that. Across East Tennessee, I do, again, think these totals are really on the bullish side here. But we are talking, around 5 to 9 inches for Gatlinburg. Wow, that's a lot of snow. 6 to 10 for Greenville, 6 to 10 for Johnson City. That's a ton of snow. 4 to 9 for Morristown, 2 to 7 for Knoxville, around 6 for Sevierville. We'll have to wait and see. Again, I think that's a little too high, but if things continue shifting westward, this is what your forecast could be looking like. Your high-end scenario, maybe upwards of a foot. Absolutely, positively not a forecast. I don't think you're going to see a foot. I think that's kind of outrageous at this range. As we head further off to the south here, in the portions of Atlanta, you could see up to an inch. We're talking around Washington, around 2 to 5 here. Blairsville, around 2 to 5, and then we're going to hit all those other areas in just a minute here. But our high-end potential sure could be talking about a lot of snow here. And if we continue seeing our westward trends, maybe 3 to 6 inches for Atlanta cannot be ruled out. We'll have to wait and see on that, though. As we shift our attention back across these areas here, Martinsville 4 to 11 inches. That's a lot of snow. My goodness. 4 to 10 for Mount Airy there, 2 to 8 for Lynchburg, Virginia, and Roanoke there. That is going to be interesting. And our high-end amounts, I don't know, folks. This is a little bit high, in my opinion. 17 inches for Martinsville. We'll have to wait and see if that verifies. A foot for Roanoke, Blacksburg, and Lynchburg. We'll have to wait and see. But again, if we do see a very heavy snow band setup, we could be talking about higher end totals. As we head further off here, saying Charlotte here, 7 to 11 inches. And look at some of these other areas. Asheville, 5 to 8 inches of snow being possible. Greenville, Spartanburg, around 4 to 9. We'll have to wait and see on that. As we take a look at our high-end scenario here and kind of refresh our data, as we go around 9 inches for Asheville, 10 for Marion. Again, if we see our 10% verify here, or 1 in 10 chance, I should say. 14 inches for Charlotte. You wouldn't know what to do with all that snow. That's crazy. Going all the way up here now. Look at how insane this forecast is. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. We could be talking about 1 inch of snow or 7 inches of snow in Richmond. Pretty big difference, isn't it, if you'd ask me. 1 to 6 in Ocean City. Again, a very big difference. Half an inch to 5 there. That's insane. Trace to 4. I mean, these amounts are insane. These are kind of silly. 6 to 10 for Norfolk there. 3 to 11 for Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. 6 to 4 for Hillsborough. 6 to 12 for Oxford. You get the idea. But as we go further off to south, things get more extreme. Your high-end totals here. Look at almost a foot for Ocean City if we get our high end to verify. Now, in for your crush zone here, here's Raleigh here, around 6 to 13 inches being possible, 6 to 13 in Durham as well, 6 to 14 in Roxborough there. That's a lot of snow. 7 to 14 in Ashboro. I mean, look at all your locations. There are a lot of them listed on the map here. They're probably going to be seeing over 6 inches of snow, and that is definitely something to watch for. You don't actually typically see snow nowadays, I made that joke the other day, right? Look at this here. Raleigh, 17 inches on your high end, 20 inches for Roxborough. That is just, oh my gosh. 15 for Rocky Mount. Again, if we see our higher end banding set up, that's what could happen. Further to the south here, look at Columbia, South Carolina, 5 to 9 inches. You all never see snow, so this will be a massive surprise for you all. 6 to 11 for Lancaster, 5 to 10 for Sumner there, 6 to 10 for Florence. On our high-end totals, a foot for Columbia. Oh my gosh, you would not know what to do with all that snow. I've said the same thing for a lot of other locations too. Now down here in Savannah, Georgia, around 1 inch is possible. 1 to 3 for Charleston. We could be talking about snow on the beaches. 2 to 6 for Georgetown, around 2 to 7 for Myrtle Beach up there. That's promising. 3 to 6 for Orangeburg. This is looking real good for some of you all who, again, don't typically see snow. Your high-end amount's even better, almost a foot for Myrtle Beach. Imagine if that happened. My goodness, 4 for Charleston. That would be incredible. We're going to spend a little more time here in the National Weather Service in Newport/Morehead City here off in North Carolina, your Outer Banks region, because they have a lot of awesome products to go with this winter storm. But let's go over this first. 6 to 11 inches of snow for Rocky Mount, 5 to 12 for Engelhard. I didn't even know that town existed. 3 to 11 in Kitty Hawk. There's going to be a very big difference there. Look at how crazy this is. Half an inch to 7 inches there for Hatteras. Wow. I mean, again, because you're right along your shoreline, you could have some mixing, so that's why the totals are a bit uncertain there. But as we go through some of our other graphics, which I forgot to pull up, give me a minute. Jeez. Messing everything up this morning or afternoon. I can't even tell what time it is. Major impacts likely, and we're trending upward on these impacts. And this right here, we're talking most of eastern NC now has a 70 to an 80% chance of seeing major impacts. This is very serious. You can see 80 to even 90% in some areas as well on this graphic. Probabilities have continued to trend higher. And I'm going to get out our highlight tool. This is a lot easier. Yeah, trend higher over the past 24 hours. That's very serious. Major impacts. Expect considerable disruptions to daily life. All right, that's pretty serious. Dangerous or impossible driving conditions. Avoid travel if possible. Widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur. So you all need to stay very weather aware, very safe out there. And of course, if you want new updated information, just please scan this QR code on your screen right here, provided from the National Weather Service. I'm so glad they do this kind of stuff. It's awesome for the general public, isn't it? And significant snow is becoming more likely. We already knew this. Look at this. Probability of snow 4 inches. 100% for Greenville. That's crazy. Yeah, 90 to 100% chance. Snowfall rates may exceed 1 to 2 plus inches an hour during the peak of the storm Saturday night during Sunday morning. Blowing and drifting snow is likely, particularly open areas where there is exposure to north winds. Very poor visibility will result. Please keep that in mind, folks. Very important. Significant snow is becoming more likely. Trends have been increasing for significant amounts of snow. Significant. Localized blizzard conditions possible. Outer Banks down east and open areas of the, I can't even pronounce that, my goodness, the peninsula areas there. Blizzard conditions are looking possible for these areas, kind of highlighted, outlined in red there. Significant blowing and drifting snow will make travel impossible, and we already knew that. Forecast wind gusts, this is very important to look at here. We're talking about winds gusting upwards of 55 to 65 miles an hour on your Outer Banks. Blizzard conditions, folks. Inland, 40 to 50 miles an hour. Think about damaging winds. You're going to have trees coming down. You're going to have snow blowing all over the place. Storm surge. This is a very dangerous storm. Blowing and drifting snow, especially coastal areas and the peninsula there. Okay, isolated power outages and tree damage possible. Again, stay off the roads and probably stay indoors, better yet. Maximum wave heights could see upwards of 20-foot waves. A little bit on the conservative side, but that's probably what's going to happen. So, moderate to locally significant coastal flooding and overwash likely, especially for portions of the Outer Banks. And coastal flooding is expected for a lot of areas. 2 to 4 foot storm surge. They are explicitly calling for 2 to 4 feet of inundation. That's like a tropical storm, folks. Even like a low-end hurricane in some areas. And in addition to battering waves on the ocean side, will likely lead to travel impacts for vulnerable portions of North Carolina 12, especially Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands there. So, you heard it here first from the National Weather Service. This is a major to an extreme storm moving on through your area, and you need to prepare now. As we wrap up the video, we're moving further south here. National Weather Service of Wilmington, North Carolina. 4 to 10 for Wilmington proper there and all other areas. Again, talking about a lot of snow. Your high-end chances around 20 inches. We're going to have to wait and see. We could be talking about some icing as well, so be very cautious if you're on the roads. It could get a bit slick out there for some areas. Did this update? It did not, but yeah, potentially 0.02 of an inch for Wilmington. And as for Massachusetts, they're not really too excited. Maybe an inch or two, but that could change really quickly. Now, your European ensemble in terms of your coastal wind gusts here is very, very aggressive. Look at that. The ensemble itself is showing gusts between 70 to 80 miles an hour there, right in your Outer Banks. That would be very serious. Gusts upwards of 40 to almost 50 pretty far inland as well. So yeah, this is going to be a high impact system. Look at that here for the Cape of Massachusetts, gusts up to 70 being possible. And temperatures are especially going to be really cold while the snow is falling. As we head into Saturday for East Tennessee. All right, East Tennessee, it's going to be snowing while it's 15 degrees. Holy smokes, that is not typical for you guys out there. And then as it starts snowing in South North Carolina, temperatures will be in the teens. Outer Banks, probably in the mid-20s to low 30s, more than likely. So still going to pile up quite a lot there. Temperatures after this front moves in is going to be very hazardous as well. Something to really note and watch out for. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. I apologize if it seemed a bit rushed. I do have places I need to be really, really soon, so had to go a bit quick. Had a lot of technical difficulties. Today has not been my day at all, but I still managed to punch through it, and I'm getting this video out even if it's the last thing I do. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this video with friends, family, and social media, leave a comment in the section below if you wish. As always, have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay very weather aware out there, and please, stay very cautious, especially along your Outer Banks there, as it could get an absolute walloping of snow, damaging winds, and storm surge.